Right. So in the chat from 1 to 10, tell me how much approach anxiety you have. 10 being the worst and 1 being like none. None at all. Say with the day game approach, if I said, see that hottie? Is like just a hot girl kind of standing on the side of the road waiting for the light to change. I'm like, go direct. Boom. How much anxiousness do you feel? 1 to 10. Put it in the chat, guys. I need you to work with me here. 5 or a 6. Yeah, so that's still going to cost you a lot of approaches though, right? So you might see opportunities and you don't take them because you feel that anxiety. Tell me what you think approach anxiety is. What causes approach anxiety? What do you have because there's a lot of information out there. So let me know in the chat or over voice what you feel approach anxiety is. Oh, we lost somebody. I'll tell you what approach anxiety is. It's when you try to solve every single problem all at once. Every single problem all at once. Oh, you're back. Okay. Approach anxiety is when you try to solve every single problem all at the same time. I'm going to try a whiteboard here and see if I can give a visual representation of what this looks like. I've never used the whiteboard. This is so exciting. So this is your head. Here, there's some eyes. I'm not an artist, as you can tell. Yeah, that's your head going along. You see a hottie over here. She's got long hair. She's happy. Oh, she's the ugliest woman in this world, in our world, but in the world of whiteboards, she's smoking hot. This is like a hot ass babe with nice big boobies. Oh yeah. You want to talk to this hottie right here? She's banging. So first thing that you might start thinking is this. Oh, I see Wick on my board. Can you draw on my board? Or you can just point. That's hilarious. Okay, so you start thinking. In the chat, what are one of the thoughts that you might start thinking? I'll start. What if it's creepy? What's another one? Let me know in the chat. When you go to approach that girl, what's another thought that comes up with approach anxiety? I don't know what to say. Yeah, that's a great one. I don't know. I'm a great artist. Man, I could have been a Picasso instead of a dating coach. She's probably busy. Yeah, that's a good one. Totally common. She looks busy. Even though she's like on her phone. What are 99% of women you meet in day game doing? They're on their fucking phone. It's like, she looks busy. She's on her phone. Any more guys? She's not that hot. Well, is she not that hot, or is that just an excuse? She's not that hot. And you can talk over voice if you feel like it. If not, then hit mute. Text. She's not that hot. Oh, we're running out of space. I'm gonna have to draw some lines out here. What do you have here? She probably has a boyfriend. Probably has a boyfriend. Any more? She has rich MILFs. Everyone will hear me. Yeah, everyone's gonna judge me. That's probably not how you would think. You wouldn't think people are gonna judge me. You're going to be like, people will hear me, or people will see me, or people will think I'm creepy. But yeah, people will judge me. What about personal stuff, like just self-esteem issues? Maybe you weren't prepared and you didn't dress well, so you're thinking like, I'm having a bad hair day. Where's this? I gotta play more with the whiteboard. I don't know how to approach in this situation. Yeah, like how, like maybe she's with a friend or she's ordering a coffee or something, and you're not familiar with that situation. Um, Everyone will judge me. I'm ugly today. She's too hot. That's a pretty common one. Let's say she's too hot. Too hot. Like she's not hot enough or she's too hot. How do I approach a girl who's like a 10 out of 10, perfect movie star hot? Oof, I've never seen a woman that hot before. That happens to me sometimes. Not it doesn't stop me though. Fuck, I wish there was more of those around where I'm at. I came to this beach town hoping that it would be like full of tens and stuff. It's like hipster girls everywhere. I feel like I'm back in East Van, but I'm here for now. My logistics suck. How can I pull this off? Yeah, excuses too. Like that's an excuse. A common one is tomorrow. I can try this tomorrow when I'm in state. That was a great one. When RSD made that concept of state really popular, like you have to be in the perfect emotional state. If you don't know about state, I'll have to do another entire webinar on state. My logistics suck. My logistics suck. Yeah, I live with my mom. Man, so okay. Already, we could keep going and going and going. Look at this. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 problems. Men love solving problems. We love solving problems, don't we? Like if a woman comes to you and she says, I'm having problems with my iPad. I can't figure out how to post this picture of my butt on Instagram. What's your first instinct? Let me solve that problem. That's easy. Step by step, we're going to make an A to Z solution to your problem. That's why I love teaching you guys. I love solving problems for other men that I've, been working to solve myself. What happens? Too many problems. All anxiety is when you have too many problems that you don't have the solution for and you try to solve them all at the same time. Write that down. Approach anxiety is trying to solve every single problem at the same time. And it happens like that. All this inner dialogue, that's the ego. The ego. A lot of people mistake ego for pride. They think ego means pride. There's 2 books to start every man should read. If you haven't read it yet, you need to read these books. One is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and 2 is A New Earth, his second book. Both of the books by Eckhart Tolle. Read them once, read them twice over the years. I've read A New Earth about 7 times, and it's the book I give to every client because it's ego for dummies. It's internal dialogue. So what all this is your internal dialogue. What do I say? What do I do? What if people see me? What if I don't look good today? Can I do it tomorrow? Is it going to bug her? She's on the phone. Yeah. And so what happens is you look like a robot with steam blowing out of your ears. That's literally like if you watch old cartoons, you see the steam blowing out of the ears. I don't want to be known as the guy who approaches around here. Yeah, that's really common. I have guys when I would teach in cities of like 2-3 million people, and they would stop me. Tony, I can't approach on this street. Why? Because I have a friend who works in an office 2 blocks down in that skyscraper who might see me. Seriously. Like, that's one of the 900 thoughts. Here's what happens when you start trying to solve every single problem. You get anxiety. You ever hear the woman that's like, I have anxiety? Like, every woman has anxiety. You know why? Because women are not good at solving problems. Men are great at solving problems, but we still have the same problem of trying to solve too many problems, whereas women really suffer a lot more with this because they need a man to solve their problems for them most of the time. As sexist as that is, it's pretty true. Men are the ones who solve problems. And that's why so many women suffer from anxiety. And that's why so many men suffer from anxiety, because they didn't have masculine role models to teach them how to solve one problem at a time. One problem at a time. If you want to approach a girl, there's only one problem you need to solve: how to move your feet. So when guys say, what's the like perfect approach? How do I get over how do I go up and do this direct approach? I say, first, your right foot, then you move your left foot. Then you open your mouth and you force air through your lungs and you say the line, whatever line it is you're going to use. Let's go through the physical symptoms of approach anxiety. In the chat, guys, what does it feel like? Tell me the symptoms of approach anxiety. I'll start. 1, your heart rate. Boom, 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 boom. Your brain going blank? Yeah. Yeah, you don't know what to say. It's not really blank, though. It's actually, that's a thought. That's a problem you're trying to solve. My brain is blank. I don't know what to say. I'm talking about physical symptoms. Hot. Yeah, because your heart is pumping more blood. Hey, Wick, can you hit mute unless you want to chat? If you guys want to chat, by the way, there's in the reactions, there's the raise hand feature. See, I'm pressing it here. How? Yeah, you feel hot. Like, some guys get sweaty. You get butterflies in the stomach, sort of like when you're going down a roller coaster. Too quick down a roller coaster, right? Trembling, yeah, shaking. That's from that's adrenaline, isn't it? Like have you ever had a man piss you off to the point where you wanted to punch them? Like a family member who's so infuriating. Maybe you're like, Trump's the shit, and they're like, Trump's a Nazi, and you're like, you don't understand, and and you start shaking. I'm literally shaking. Yeah, that's another symptom. Watch one of you hates Donald Trump. I'm out of here. Fuck this guy. Right? So you get triggered emotionally. It's an emotion. The emotions lead to motion. Emotions lead to motion. Feeling wobbly, dry mouth. That's really common. Shits, like nervous shit. A lot of guys get stomach problems. Oh, I have to go to the bathroom. I have to go like before a flight. If you haven't flown a lot, before I traveled all over the world, I used to be actually really scared of flying in these planes, especially turbulence. I'd have to go to the toilet all the time. Before boot camps, I would have 2 or 3 guys that paid me thousands of dollars to go to a bar and impress them. Watch Tony, the magic pickup artist. And I'm just shitting my pants coming to the boot camp. Like, what if I do a bad job? What if they want a refund? I can't afford to give a refund. What if, it was trying to solve every single problem. And I would start to get anxious. So heart rate, adrenaline, internal chatter. Internal chatter, you're right. It is a physical thing because your brain is creating, I actually believe that the mental energy is a physical energy. I believe that my thoughts affect my reality and that there's a vibrational frequency. Tesla talked about it, and now science is discussing this. If you put your thoughts, positive or negative, onto frozen like snow, and you look at that under a microscope, you can affect the shape of the snow. And we know now with quantum theory that your thoughts affect your physical reality as well. Mumbling, Yeah, the mumbling, stutter, very common. Right, so you have all these thoughts you're trying to solve, and what happens is you can't solve them all, so it increases your adrenaline. Oh, fuck, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Psh, go talk to that girl. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it when I have a new shirt. So it's approach anxiety. So you have two things connected. You have your mind and your body, and they're connected. This is very important that you understand how anxiety works so that you can learn how to stop it. There's these gurus that say you will always have anxiety, it never goes away. That's not true. Have you ever seen these cliff divers, death divers on YouTube? Look them up. So maybe not right now, but these death divers, they run at the cliff and they jump and they do like eagle spreads. Oh, like they're gonna hit the water and die, and then they tuck at the last minute. I've done some cliff diving. I went to the Philippines and I did a course where you have to go up increasingly high cliffs. The first one's 2 meters. It's called canyoneering. You go down these canyons that are in a river and they have pools. The first jump is 2 meters. The next one's 4 meters, 6 meters, 8 meters. You get it. Until the very last jump I was allowed to do was 15 meters. 2 meters, no problem. 4 meters, whoa, that was tough. 8 meters, man, I was the last guy to jump. There was like a little Japanese girl that went before me because I was thinking, what if I fuck this up? What if I make a mistake? What if I hit the water wrong? What if people are laughing at me because I'm scared right now? And all this stuff, it makes you frozen in place. So how would you jump over that cliff? Any of you guys who have done extreme sports, how did you get over that fear? Let me know in the chat. If you've done high diving or snowboarding on the scariest runs, for example, you just do it. You just do it. How much thought does just doing it involve? Zero thought. And I'll get into how to have zero thought in a second. I'm dehydrated. And thank you for showing up, guys. It's really awesome to have you guys here. Because these are really fun, aren't they? So, fear of death. How many of you are religious? I want to know, or spiritual. Religion doesn't have to be a religion. It can be a spiritual guide. Just put 1 in the chat if you are, and 2 if you're not. If you're atheist, like it's lights out, game over. 2. 1. 1. So I am spiritual, and I'm not a Buddhist or a Christian or a Catholic, but I developed for myself my own concept of what happens when I die. And this was because I had a lot of fear. I had so much fear, man. I had fear of traveling, fear of flying, like fear of walking down the wrong street in the wrong neighborhood, fear of what people thought about me, fear of talking to hot women. And so I started to investigate this fear, like, where is this fear coming from? And the one thing that really got me over my fear of approaching women was obviously approaching thousands of them. I approached more women than it's almost embarrassing how many women I approached, you know, because you think like my lay count should be should be so much higher. But I realized the correlation between, especially coaching other guys, that a lot of the guys who had a very, very high level of approach anxiety were atheists. They didn't have any concept of what happened to them when they died. And they also had a very, very big fear of death. They had a huge fear of what people thought about them. They were not really that capable of controlling their own emotions, and they were also atheist. I thought that's so interesting because not that I asked guys coming onto boot camp. So I started asking my coaching clients that I've been doing over these remote mentoring, like coaching one-on-one over Zoom, like asking people, deep diving, what do you think happens when you die? And most of them said, I don't know. I don't have any idea. Here's what a warrior from the past might believe. When I die, I go to Valhalla, where I drink with all of my fallen comrades, and I fight the eternal battle as a hero. And I'm a hero in the afterlife. I'm worshipped. I'm a god. I have powers. Or when I die, I go to this place where everything's nice and fluffy, and everyone's super friendly and I'm on a cloud. Or in the Buddhism, you get to go to different levels heading towards nirvana. So depending on how interesting your life was, how much you learned, you come back as a reincarnation, depending on how much you learned in your past life. So you have to have a good life. And if you're having a hard life, it's because you're having a lesson. Life is giving you a lesson. But you come back to this earth as a different kind of being based on your life. Some religions believe that you come back or you die and you get all these virgins to eternally finger your bumhole. I won't say what religion. You all know. You get a whole bunch of virgins to pleasure you or whatever. You get a harem. It's not so bad, is it? Your own harem. No man has ever touched them and they're your loyal lovers. This is how they got men to charge into battle under incredibly stupid odds with like an axe towards a wall of men with spears on horses. Valhalla, dead. Because they believe that when they die, they go to somewhere better, somewhere more incredible. So that's how you can get a man to charge into battle. Now, if you're going to take those same men and say, go over and say, tell that hottie over there, hey, I think you're really attractive. I had to come meet you. I think you're a hottie. I had to meet you. The exact same thing happens instinctually with the thoughts and the emotions when you are asked to approach a woman, as would happen if you were to charge into battle with a spear. Does that sound true to you? Hit 1 if that sounds true, or 2 if you think that's bullshit. Makes sense, right? Why is that? Why do you think we're built like that? Why are we afraid to approach a woman instinctually? What is it that makes that danger, that adrenaline response, that egoic response? I guess you call it fight or flight, right? I would say it's because if you went back, you probably heard this before, but if you went back in time as a caveman and you left your tribe and went to a new tribe and started hitting on the women, they would bash you with a rock. What are you doing? These are my women. You're not in the right tribe. So when you fear what people think of you, it's because it's instinctual. It's a survival mechanism. This is why the bravest warriors were also the first to die. They took the biggest risks. They got the biggest rewards. If you charged into battle ahead of all your comrades, killed a bunch of enemies and survived, everyone would say, look, Wick has huge balls, man. He charged straight into battle. He wiped out his enemies. He almost died himself. Now we're going to reward that either as a martyr if he died, or if he's alive, you're going to get an award, a ceremony if enough people saw you. And plus you're going to get all the pussy because women are hypergamous and they're going to go with whichever man has the most attention. Social proof. So there's massive rewards for taking that action. That's why I tell guys when they're afraid and they have approach anxiety, do it anyway for so many different reasons, because women will respect you if they see that even though you're afraid, even though you're stuttering, shaking and sweating, you still approached. Oof, this guy's a warrior. He's terrified, but he's still approaching. You get respect. You get respect from the people around you too. I can't tell you how many times I've had a client go in and approach a girl and they're worried about what everyone thinks because they don't want to get killed instinctually. And the guys, they come up to them after and say, I just saw that, bro. That was amazing. I wish I had the balls to do that. How did you do that? You get respect. Isn't that great? So many times. Social conditioning. So like, I'm going to do the whiteboard again. I love the whiteboard. Come hang out with me in the whiteboard, everybody. How do I make a circle? Ooh. All right. Hey, Justin's flying around the whiteboard. Can I make this a different color? Okay, I want to make this bigger. No, not zoom in. I want to make you bigger. And I don't know how right now. Is it up here? Okay, we got people up here. No. Yeah, I'm making little dots. These are people inside of what would I call this? Let me get my notes. This is a model of reality, basically. This is society. This is the society you live in. And this is the model of reality. And these are people inside this model of reality. I would like to know how to make a different color. Black, here we go. And this is, say, you, normal you, in the mall, surrounded by all these other people. We're in a democracy. We're in a Western country, let's say Canada. You know, most of these people voted for Justin Trudeau, including me. Unfortunately, I can't believe I did that. How little I knew back then. And you're going about this. Now, what are some societal rules right now about approaching women? Listen to this. Okay, so if I make a YouTube channel with prank videos where I approach women as dressed up as a billy goat, it's like Billy Goat picks up girls. Mah! Everyone laughs. Ha ha ha. It's a prank video. If I dress like a pickle, man dresses like pickle or dresses like Sean Connery. Hilarious. Charming. If I do another video and let's think about this in a different context. I wrote this down. Anyway, if I'm teaching people though, if I'm like, here's how to approach women, it's creepy. Right? Okay, there's three things. You can dress like a pickle and make prank videos, totally fine with society. Society says that's okay, you get to stay in the bubble. You can make a video where you go approach women and you're like, I don't know what to do, but I want to overcome my shyness. Most of like 80% of the commenters will be like, that's amazing. If I'm like, here's like 10 easy ways to convince a girl on the street to sleep with you within 4 hours. Boo! Creepy! Creepy! Manipulator! Why is that? Because there's a paradigm here. There's a consensus, pushed by the mainstream media, pushed by the war against men, pushed by who knows what. That this is just supposed to be natural. We're not supposed to be able to teach how to meet women, how to use female psychology and masculine philosophy to attract women. It's not supposed to be done. So it puts you out here. You're an outsider if you do this stuff. But guess what? You can make your own society. Actually, your society would probably be more like this. Oh, overlapping. And so this is kind of where we're existing, right in here. That's our own model of reality, where we have communities like this, and I say, dude, you have permission. I want you to go approach 10 women in this week. Phone number challenge, February challenge, get 10 phone numbers. Put your results down in the school group. Come to the school group, right? It's okay. In our society, this is amazing. Actually, when this happens too much, when too many people disagree, that's when you get like a civil war. You get people completely separating from society to make their own cult paradigm. Yeah, that's how cults start. So inside our communities, the men's communities, we give you permission. So if I gave you, this is why a thought experiment, if I gave you permission, say we go on a boot camp, not even a boot camp, say I say, hey, I want you to help me with a prank video, Justin. I'm going to film you and you're going to go approach 10 women and say, I have $1 million to give away. All you have to do is answer this math question. Would you have any anxiety doing that? If you had $1 million in a briefcase and everyone who got this math question right, you gave them like 10 grand or 20 grand. You're giving away 10, 20 grand. How much approach anxiety would you feel if I told you to approach a 10 out of 10 with $1 million? None. Yeah, like none. Why do you think that is? Why? Because it wouldn't be shamed by society. You have a reason. It's not outside of the social conditioning circle, that bubble. You're totally right in the middle of it. Social, like you're giving away value, you're giving away money. There's nothing sexual about it. Now, if I say, go up and get that woman's phone number to try to get a date, boom, this is outside the bubble in your paradigm. If we had a tribe where from birth, men, women, children, everyone in this society said, you're not a man unless you go and approach women. And your mother and your grandmother were like, here's 10 things you can say. And here's like 10 ways to overcome approach anxiety. And the girls were waiting for men to approach them. And the boy who was the best at approaching them got like the honor of being the star of the tribe in that society for having the best wrist. This is like Latin American culture, by the way. Very few Latin American men have approach anxiety. Quite the opposite. If you're a woman traveling through these countries, you know. So right now you got to look when you have approach anxiety at repurposing your entire model. This is why community is so important. This is why having peers, wingmen, a community. And this is why having a model of the fear, like of an understanding of what your concept of the afterlife is. What happens when you die? This is my belief. I'm a god having a human experience, and I'm here to learn about humanity and have this human experience. And I take that knowledge back to the Godhead when I die, which is like infinite energy. And I got this philosophy from watching like 100 hours of near-death experience videos. You can look these up on YouTube, NDE, near-death experience. They have entire channels of people discussing what they saw when they died and they came back. It's totally fascinating. On top of that, I studied so many things about religion. I watched a lot of spiritual videos and ayahuasca videos. I've never done ayahuasca, but I watched a lot of videos of people smoking DMT, doing ayahuasca, and coming back and explaining what they saw beyond the veil, plus just studying ancient religions and stuff. And they all say the same shit, that this is not real. Even quantum physics is saying this isn't real. We're here to either love, suffer, experience fear, experience the whole range of emotions. And so when I approach a woman, I don't see her as like this being that's going to judge me while all the other people judge me. I just see ones and zeros. Like she's a soul, she's another soul, but she is me. She's the conscious projection of me. And whatever experience I have when I approach her, whether it's shame or embarrassment or fear, that's only making my reality more interesting, so I can take more information back to the Godhead when I die. And I am the Godhead. I'm just a piece of the God having this human experience. I'm not saying you have to have that, but that helps me really like not take this shit so seriously. You laugh about it. Like there's people right now in Ukraine in a trench hiding from hand grenades that are being dropped from drones in the mud in the middle of wintertime. And I'm afraid to approach a girl in Canada, or where am I? I'm in Nicaragua, right? Fuck that. Fuck that. There's so many ways that you can fix your mindset, but these are just a few concepts. These are just a few concepts when it comes to approach anxiety that I want people to mull over. What's your philosophy of what happens when you die? Are you going to Valhalla? Are you going to heaven? Are you going to the astral realm? Or is it just lights out? Because I really feel that the lights out, nihilistic, atheistic philosophy is not very helpful. In one way, it's liberating because it says nothing matters. And this is kind of a popular philosophy. But on the other hand, there's no reward for heroism. If we look at approach anxiety on a basic level, you're not going to get laid if you don't approach women. Your genetic pool is probably going to die unless you become famous and rich and you use those assets like a giant social circle or you manipulate social media. On the other hand, the only way that most guys like us are going to get these women is by approaching directly or indirectly, day game, or going to clubs and bars. Really simply, beside the motivation part, which I can get more into with a mindset talk, you want to stop thinking when you approach, because all this thinking is just going to put you into that thought loop. And then you don't take action because you let your adrenaline and your fear and your thoughts prevent you from moving. So here's a really simple exercise. Pick an object, a spot on the floor or a spot on the wall, and stare at it with me. I'm going to pick a spot right now. I'm looking at the A on my MacBook Air. And I'm going to breathe in deeply through my nose and focus only on that one spot, and then blow out through my mouth. Any thoughts that come, they just float past me. I don't hold on to them. Breathing in, focusing on the spot, and breathing out. Looking at the shape of that object, the texture of that object. Any thoughts that come, they just float right past me like a cloud. I don't hold on to them. I feel good. I feel happy as I breathe in. I just feel gratitude for life, for this human experience. And then I breathe out. Hottie goes by, approach. Go now. And that's exactly how I get men who are in their heads in field when I'm coaching them. And I even do this over the phone. When I do remote coaching, they live stream. They go out and approach women. If they're having a panic attack, I do this exercise where I frame them in the present moment. No thoughts, no adrenaline, totally calm. Then when the girl comes, go. And they start going instantly, 99% of the time. A lot of guys ask me, what do you think about before you approach? I don't. I literally don't. I'm a bit more advanced now in that I can look at the logistics. What's the best angle? Is she with a man or is she with another woman? Is she in a group? Is she alone? What's she doing logistically? But as soon as my brain starts to go like, but what are you going to say? Shh. I'm pretty good at, if you study creative openers with me, you can be amazing at coming up with creative openers with very little thought. It takes a lot of practice. It's much easier to just go direct because of reasons. But I don't think. I literally don't think. And no matter how much I explain this to guys, they don't comprehend that. How do you not think? Being present in the now, the power of now. Yoga, meditation, and just immersion therapy. Immersion therapy. I've approached thousands of women in all kinds of situations. As soon as I start to feel an adrenaline spike, I stop the thoughts, because the thoughts create adrenaline and the adrenaline creates the thoughts. It's a vicious cycle. You need to do two things practically to kill the approach anxiety. One, stop your thoughts, or one, stop your heart from pounding. Stop the blood from flowing, stop the adrenaline from coursing, and they're linked. So you stop this by breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. You stop the thoughts by focusing on one thing and only one thing, so that the thoughts don't come in. All those thought bubbles don't happen, because they will never be solved, and there's no point to try to consider all of them. If you were a soldier in a battle and I said, okay, we're about to go over the breach, watch that movie All Quiet on the Western Front. And when they say we're about to go over that breach, you have to be one with death. You have to be ready to die. Because if you don't, they're going to shoot you. They will kill you if you don't. They're going to kill you if you do. So you just go. And after you do this over and over and over again, even though you feel the fear, you go anyway. That's how you overcome approach anxiety. And the best soldiers, if you watch the movie A Black Hawk Down, in A Black Hawk Down, there's a special ops, a ranger, and he gives this one soldier advice. Or maybe I'm thinking of Private Ryan. Black Hawk Down's amazing as well. There's some good lessons in that from the ranger scene, but in Saving Private Ryan, the one guy says, look, I already know I'm dead. That's why I'm such an amazing soldier. That's one guy who was legendary. You go anyway, despite the fear. And when you do it enough times, you immerse yourself, the anxiety stops happening, because you get rewarded. You win the battle. You get the glory. The women reward you with their love, their attention for taking those brave actions, and you start to associate approaching with bravery. But you can't do that without busting through that threshold of death, of ego death. That's all I'm going to say now. Now I'm going to do some Q&A. I could go on for hours more, but I'm going to leave it at that for now. It's already a lot, right? Wick has a conversation. I'll get right to you, Wick. Wick says, I have
Awesome, man. Can you hear me all right?
Oh yeah, I can hear you, bro. You want to talk? Let's do it.
Great. Yeah. I just wanted to share the fact that I think you're spot on this, because I kind of forgot how this is what helped me get over AA in the first place. Meditation. There were two things I credit: meditation, and then going with a friend who was experienced doing it, and like literally being right next to him, and like him doing it next to me. And I saw literally how it was nothing special. It was no big deal. It was just like whatever, like just saying hi. But I want to share this specific story that I think ties into this, and there's another tool you can use. You basically said it, but I'll add to it. I have been doing breath work recently, and there's like a specific breathing pattern you can do to calm down your nervous system. It's basically breathe in for 4 counts, hold your breath for 4 counts, and then breathe out for 8. And I was using it a bunch, and I went to an open mic, and I randomly, I have stage fright, but I'm a musician, and I played tons of concerts, tons, probably like 50 to 100. And I still kind of deal with it, but not so much anymore. But anyway, I hadn't played in months on the drums. And I suddenly got a chance to play the drums randomly, open mic. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to, but I'm a little bit nervous. But I said yes anyway, because I'm just that kind of guy. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna do it anyway. And I noticed myself getting nervous, and I could feel my creative energy dropping, which was making me get more nervous. Because I knew if I were to get up on stage like that, my playing would be very basic, uninspired, and it wouldn't sound good. It would just be like you know, not really something I would want to play up on stage, but kind of maybe have a reason to be a little bit nervous. So I used that technique to calm myself down, and I could actually feel that creative energy rising as I was calming down. And I was like, oh yeah, I know what I'm gonna play. The
Just
funny thing
breathe
is, though,
it.
exactly like you're saying, you don't even think about it. It's like I don't even need to think about what beat I'm gonna play. I just know I'm gonna sit down and feel the vibe, feel the rhythm of whatever's going on, and just like in the moment, literally in the moment, it's gonna come to me. That's like creative energy. So I just wanted to share that, because it was so weird how I could feel my creative energy drop and rise based on how nervous I was. And then using that breathing technique was like a big part of it. And I think the same thing with, talking about having creative openness, knowing what to say, literally like, you see a friend on the street. I got a here. You see a friend on the street, you're not going there like, what should I say? It literally just flows out of you in the moment. And that's probably how it should be done, regular digging. So that's all I
Absolutely,
wanted to share.
man. Thanks for sharing that, because you're dead on. Because I played in bands as well. You probably know, but I played in punk bands, and I've done my fair share of public speaking. I used to have panic attacks before going on stage. But what actually, for myself, got me over that really quickly was preparation. Was that I knew my band was tight. We were tight because we practiced a lot in the studio. And when I got on stage, there was this adrenaline, but you at a certain point, you just have to let go of control, let go of that need for perfection and control. And like you said, you just breathe. You become aware that, like, I'm having adrenaline right now, and like thinking about this isn't going to help. I'm prepared to, like, you guys coming to these classes and just discussing these things and thinking about these things prepares you for the real event. Just like you sitting in your room doing drums for hours and hours and hours, when you get on stage, you're like, I'm nervous, but I know what to do. I know how I know how to do this. I'm going to let go of control and let the band carry me through as well, right? As part of being in the group with the band, that also helps. When you go out with your wingman, that's part of that society that you've created for yourself inside the society. You two together have the permission. That's why getting wingmen it's so powerful. And that's why I joke that guys, when they hire me to do boot camps, I'm like, congratulations, you paid me $2,000 to give you permission to approach women. And there's a lot of ways to overcome this stuff, and that's like a prime metaphor: music, sports, learning any skill. Also, what you're talking about is being in flow. There's an amazing, incredible book called Flow. If you haven't read it, I highly suggest it if you like reading books. FLOW. I can't even say the author's name. It's like Russian and it's really long, but one of the best books on that phenomenon of getting into state. When you're doing your drumming, there's a point where you let go of control and your unconscious competence comes in. Unconscious competence, you know inside you what to do. Every man has unconscious competence with women. It's inside them. It's genetic. They know how to escalate. They know how to get laid, but they let their thoughts and their limiting beliefs and social pressure and social conditioning stop them from achieving that. Especially this wanting to control what she thinks. What if she's busy? What if she thinks I'm creepy? You can't control what she thinks. It doesn't matter what she thinks if she's a projection of you. Like, my spiritual philosophy is that I am everybody and everybody is me. Therefore, I can't be creepy. I'm not hurting anybody. I want to have a sexual experience with this woman. That's totally fine. She has to be a willing participant. I try to not do too much dark psychology stuff. That's another story, using the dark psychology. But approach anxiety, you have to let go of your need to control everything and just be in the flow. Because once you do your first approach, if you're going to do, say, day game, you get into that flow. And the second approach becomes easier, and the third approach becomes easier. Next thing you know, you're doing them 10, or everything you say is like, bam, you're in the state, you're in the zone, and you don't care what anybody thinks anymore because you're living in your reality. You're moving through their reality with your own reality. It's like, imagine that societal bubble, and you have your own moving right through it. Boom, I'm in my own reality. You're not going to jail. No one's filming you and shaming you on social media. You're not going to lose your job. You're just talking to women because you're a man. And that's a powerful thing, and it can put you right into flow state. Hey, Justin, what's up? You got your there you go. Oh, you got to turn your, yeah, there you go. I can't hear you yet. You're not on mute apparently, but I can't hear you. Maybe your mic isn't plugged in. Zoom is weird with headphones. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't even know what I did to fix mine, but well, I can tell you what I did, but I don't know why it worked. I just uh actually, so I think when you're in the meeting, it doesn't really let you change the settings. I think I had that problem before. So when I left and then I was not in a meeting and I went to preferences and then I selected my headphones, that seemed to work.
he's gonna leave and come back in. Look, I can do gestures with my hand. Isn't that amazing?
Oh, that it. Wait, you're saying so it does like emojis, right? There's other ones, right? Do you know the other ones?
No. What is it, like jazz hands?
I think there's other ones. Do like a heart. I think there's a heart
A heart? Oh, like,
one. Maybe not.
or how do you do a heart? I don't even know. I'm not a Japanese girl. What about like jerking off? No.
Yeah, the
No.
eggplant emoji comes.
Playing with nipples. No. I'll have to learn more. Come on. Come on. So
So I have a question. I don't want to forget it. But I'm gonna let Justin go first
well,
on the answer. But
go ahead.
I just don't want to forget it.
You
All
might take a while. You don't know.
right. So I think I put in there that uh this kind of um a thought comes in my head, which is
Oh, this
I
one
shouldn't do
should
direct.
I shouldn't do direct. I should do indirect, and then I can't think of an indirect opener. Have
And
you?
then I end up not. So I've done lots and lots of direct openers.
Yeah.
And when I started to do beach game, I experimented. But for a long time, I, for some reason, thought that direct was like the best opener. And then, going on forums, guys were like, no, you get way more consistent results doing indirect. Direct is like, kind of like a situational thing when you just don't have an indirect opener. Um, so I experimented at the beach and I was like, holy cow, I'm getting way better results. And then the beach fizzled out. Um, my point is
Hang on one
I've done a
second.
lot of
Hang
direct
on
and I
one
feel like I
sec.
want to get better. Sure.
Justin, is your mic working? No, I don't hear you. That's strange.
Such a pain in the ass. I've banged my head against this same situation with
I
Zoom.
have problems because running off my GoPro, and it takes a million times to plug and unplug the GoPro to get the cam because the MacBook camera is soft.
Oh,
No, my phone is being weird, asking me to sign in. Well, I mean, maybe for now you could text it.
can you do like voice message
Yeah,
in the chat?
that would be really useful to do voice messages.
It looks like you could upload a file, even if you can't like specifically record it um, through the Zoom chat. You might be able to like make a voice recording in a different app and upload it.
So
We're getting real crazy with the workaround.
back to your question about indirect openers and the beach and stuff like that. Have you looked at my openers course, or were you there?
Yeah, I was, and I I'm trying to practice, but it's funny because my mind just seems to can't like extract more information out that like, oh, I like how you look in yoga pants.
Yeah, it's
Um,
really not easy. I think improv class can help guys a lot with that. And I've taken improv classes and I've taken clients to improv classes, and that really compels you to use that creative muscle. In indirect openers,
right.
it's something
So
that
you're basically saying just work at it.
yeah.
Just keep working at it, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but have the
Okay,
concepts in
good.
your
Well
back
then,
have the concepts in your back pocket. Like, don't just blindly go in because you're just going to default back to, hey, what's up?
right.
Oh, I heard him.
Okay.
But
Oh,
we
that
can
might have been
work more on
I might
that.
have
Like,
tapped me.
when I have private coaching clients, we drill on it for like an hour, like we were doing, and that will
Cool.
train you. If you get a wingman and say, dude, we're going to train each other on openers, and then go out with your wing and say, we're only doing indirect today. Do it, discuss it, do it, discuss it, record your approaches. With my clients, I get them to bring me recordings of they mic up and they bring me recordings, and then I listen to their indirect openers and we discuss it. That's how you learn. And I would write down my openers after I did them, like what I did, what I did, what I did, and you'll learn. That's how you're going to develop it. You have to do it like you're literally learning a skill. It's like a stand-up comedian. If he just goes up there and wings it, it's going to take a long time. But if he goes up there and tests different theories and different material, he's going to learn. He's going to learn it.
I think I'm good now.
Mm.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I wound up I had to go through this whole thing on my phone where I log I had to go to the Zoom app, sign in through that way, and then go through school, and it was all a mess.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's working now.
Yeah. So what I was gonna share earlier before this whole thing was about how you were saying how wings are really important. Um, because I started learning this back in like 2013, 2014, learning pickup through the old YouTube channel Simple Pickup.
Yeah. Classic.
And I remember doing my first approach and I was just like, screw this, this is horrible. Like I don't want to do this anymore. And for many years, like I didn't do another approach after that. But I recently got back into it in about like 2021, and I met up with a wing and we just walked the city um of Philadelphia here in the States. And he didn't like push me into any approaches or do anything but like that. But we walked the city for like 2 hours and he did 5 approaches. The first one he got the girl's Instagram. The next three he got rejected, and then the fifth one was just like eye opening because the girl was so interested. She even offered to give him her number because she was just like, I guess, impressed by the balls he had. And I'm like, just seeing that kind of like opened my eyes, like, oh shit, I can do this. And I did my first approach shortly after that and then just started building off of that. So definitely going out with wings, being a part of that community is very helpful.
Oh, I agree. And it's funny you mentioned Simple Pickup because they started off with like picking up a girl in a wheelchair, like prank videos,
Yeah.
and they were beloved by YouTube. And then when they switched to here's how to pick up girls, they started getting canceled, haters, because
Yep.
of the societal bubble thing, right? But inside the Simple Pickup community, everyone saw it as wholesome until they started teaching it. It's the don't talk about Fight Club kind of mentality, isn't it funny? But Simple Pickup was super inspiring, and they're not around anymore. Like they took all their videos down.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
the
mean,
wingman thing,
that's what introduced me to all this and then like all pickup and stuff like that. So
nice. Yeah, having a wing is so helpful. When I first, I don't know if you've read my novel or not, but I chronicle this in my novel how I A Thousand Tiny Failures, how I go to Montreal, and I didn't know anybody, so I started going out alone. It was so hard. I was going out to clubs alone, bars alone, doing a little bit of day game, not much at the time. I didn't really know it. I was more into night. It was so brutally hard. And then I found the lair. There was a thing called the Montreal lair. It's like the first lair, I think, after Toronto. And it was run by this guy Cliff, and it was great because there was 20 or 30 dudes in it, and we would meet like once every 2 weeks and do a round circle, just like we're doing here, and just talk shit, talk game. And then we'd all go out after sometimes and we'd wing up. And I thought, oh, these guys are going to be incredible. I can't compete. And I went out and they would mostly just suffer from approach anxiety at the clubs, at the bars. And I was amazed that I had more experience than almost all of them because I'd been going out alone. Because I had overcome that like fear of doing it on my own before them. And I was a hard case, man. It was really it was really hard to get over that. But so I think guys should do both. You should but if the guy's totally struggling, when I have clients that are like, I just can't get going, I'm like, dude, let's get a wingman. And right now, Game Global, it's a Telegram group, is the
that's
only
where I
place.
met my wing. That's actually where I met my wing that I went out with Game Global.
I wish I had another resource because they banned me, dude, from that group just because I said I was a coach. Same with this other group on school, the men's dating mentor. I
Yeah.
joined it, and the guy running it, sent me a DM, and I didn't lie. I said, I'm a coach. I'm actually starting a school community. And he said, well, this isn't for coaches. And he banned me for life. Like, I just have to open another email account. But I'm like, this is such a scarcity mentality. Like,
Yeah.
we should be networking. I like off topic, but so many people are like, what do you think about your competition? I'm like, I don't have any competition. Like, we're all in this shit together. We're
Yeah.
supposed to.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was actually gonna save this for Saturday when we had our like Q&A and everything like that. But like one of the big things I've even told like guys on boot camps I went on, like ones who were struggling with approach anxiety. at the time when, like I said, I'm not completely over it, but I know I can do an approach. If you tell me go do an approach, I'll do an approach. I've told guys, like, if you go out alone, like, go out, because you don't know what can happen
Yeah.
when you go out. Before I could even do a direct approach, I went out to a club and I literally just went to the dance floor dancing. And this girl came up to me. She's like, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah.
Like, she was drunk, but then she's like, "I love you." She started dancing with me, introducing me to her friends. She wound up having a boyfriend, but she was like, "I'm gonna wing you tonight." Like, she was gonna be my wingman. So, like,
Yeah. Nothing happens at home. This is such
yeah,
a big concept that, like, I get myself, even though I'm in a small beach town right now and I have like my own apartment here and it's kind of up in a quiet neighborhood, which is hard to find in Latin America. But I make sure I get out of the house for a few hours in the day, and I go out to a bar or one or two at night just to go, even if I'm not drinking, go get a water and sit in the bar and like just read a book. What I used to do in Vancouver was I would go to a bar near my house and I would sometimes have a beer, sometimes an orange juice, and read a book, like a physical book, and write notes. I always have a notebook. I have hundreds of fucking notebooks, and I just go there and I note. And women would just come up and be like, "What are you doing? What are you reading?" I could have been doing that at home,
yeah,
but you have to be out. You have to do this stuff. That's one of the reasons why I have the phone number challenge going. It's just to try to get some engagement, get some people actually moving forward. Like, I swear to God, if I had not started that challenge, I would not have gotten the 2 contacts that I got. I'm pretty busy with work right now, but just getting out and being like, oh, the guys are holding me accountable on my
yeah.
be a good leader, right? And so that's why I have that. So guys, I gotta bounce. I'm gonna
All
make
right.
I'm gonna make a pitch for the recording. If you guys, any of you watching this, want your hand held through this entire process, get on a free consultation call with me. Just go to my link. I'm going to post the link to my booking, and you can get a 15-minute discovery call, and we can see if we're a good fit, see if you have the budget for coaching. And I like to do 3 months of coaching. That's like the best coaching program. It's once a month. We talk for an hour, and then you have full accountability all through the week with texting me whenever you want. We can text as much as we want. And then we do accountability calls, and we go through a lot, man. It's basically like, you don't have to do this all on your own. I can even go out with you virtually over the phone while you do approaches. And it's a done for you method. We custom design it for you depending on where you're at. I don't do like, here's A to Z, because every dude's different in a different place. But it's
Yeah,
so much easier when you have a guy like me in your corner teaching you exactly what you need. If you need to work on your openers, we're working on openers. If you're too in your head, we work on meditation. If you got dates lined up, you don't know how to escalate, we're going to make a game plan together on proven formulas I've used to just get laid fast and stuff like that. So I hope you guys take that free consultation call. And that's about it for now. Any more questions, boys?
I'm good. What about you, Weck?
Uh, I just want to share one thing that I think is useful, that even really crappy nervous approaches can get results, because I've had, been visibly nervous, mumbling, and got the date.
Yeah, me too.
Like not even just the number, but like actually went out on a date.
Well,
Um,
that's like I said, that your heroism of actually going and trying is often enough because it demonstrates powerful leadership properties, that you were afraid and you faced death. You literally, like, she doesn't know, like, intellectually this guy's facing death. It's an instinctual thing. She
mm,
knows that you approaching her takes a lot of guts and it gives her respect. And a lot of the times, actually, when you get too good, you have quality problems when you're too confident, and it sets off that player vibe. Like, this guy's too good. Like, um, when you're nervous, it actually shows that maybe you really thought she was special, which is charming as well, right? And you just miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Approach anxiety is not a permanent situation, and I wish more guys would employ some really simple strategies to overcome it. It takes a bit of work, but the best thing to do is get a community and have the philosophy, the framework to know that if you work on this, it does go away. I argue with guys like this on Reddit when they're like, approach anxiety never goes away. It just, no, dude, it goes away. It'll never come back. Like the cliff divers don't feel fear when they jump off the cliff. If it exists for a nanosecond, it's gone because it'll prevent them from doing their job properly, and it will get them killed. There's the story of the tightrope walker. He was like, I don't know, really old, but he had been tightroping his whole life. The day he died, the day he fell, he told his son that he told his son that I think I'm going to die today. I feel like I'm going to fall. Isn't that amazing? So you don't want those thoughts to even exist. What do I say? What do I do? What if she has this in your head? No, because that's all going to create anxiety and fear and cause you to fall or just not even take action. You really have to learn to not think when you go in and then just let go of control like you're on stage and deal with the consequences. And you're going to get rewarded. The women will reward you. On top of that, once you know how to talk, you have game, you know all these concepts of verbal game and stuff, then man, you're in such a league above normal guys. You can start pulling so many women. It takes a lot of work, but you can be dating as many women as you want, depending on how many hours you're willing to put into it, how many approaches you want to do, and top that with social media stuff. And then you who has time for more than one woman? That's my question. Okay, guys, thanks for showing up. I really appreciate it. And I have one more webinar coming up in a few days, the Q&A, if you want to come.
I'll be there. Thanks for having this.
So will I. Thanks.
Adios.